Right. I don't like it. I'm being stared at. This is horrible. What did I say my line was going to be? Hi, I'm Alex Van Gene. Welcome to Jackass.
The DX
Hi, we're at Philpot Kart Circuit. Welcome to the weekend. I'm going to leave that in.
Alright you lot, you know the drill by now. It's an Access Karting weekend, which means we're back in action in GX UK. The regulations are tight to keep it fair, the budgets are kept sane-ish, and yes, we are all contractually obliged to love each other after each race. 3 heats, 1 final, and a paddock full of people who'd race you hard and then lend you a spanner 5 minutes later to fix the damage they caused. But this weekend there's been a disturbance in the force. We have the return of a familiar face. And I say return, it's more come back with his tail between his legs. Roll the clip.
So, as normal with an Access Karting weekend, I'm here with Brad Philpot. But as you know, Brad Philpot has been racing in the much faster, nicer series called 100 UK. But you're not anymore.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're not anymore. You've joined us.
I mean,
you've come back to GX UK. You've given up.
I've always been in GX UK.
You've always been in GX UK?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, so you weren't driving cars, you have to push them. You didn't get
that doesn't sound like real. That doesn't sound like a thing that would be true.
No?
That sounds ridiculous.
You just pull a cord and go now? Is that what you've always done?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So apparently Brad's always been at GX UK and he hasn't missed the first 2 rounds, suffering with chronic understeer and bitching and moaning and complaining.
I think this is something you dreamt yesterday. But I'm looking forward to round 3 of GX UK, continuing championship push.
Yeah. Continuing championship push. Points have you got so far championship?
It's been I've got 0 at the moment.
So it turns out Brad's delusion and lying broke the recording, and we didn't get the rest of that. But yeah, Brad's back in GX UK now. Should we go watch some races?
Right, it is time for my race 1, heat 2 as far as GX is concerned. I'm starting 17th, and Mr. Glazebrook around me, some 44 of Ollie over there, and I have Oscar in front of me with Simon Dean and Tom Butler, and behind me we have Matt Davies, we have Damien, we have Brad. Just want to move forward in this. I have no aspirations for a particular place, just to move forward, staying out of trouble as well. I'm not going to do any crazy moves, just drive calm, drive steady. Let's go.
So as the race gets going and we're heading up to 2-1, I do not get a great start. I drop a little bit further away back from the back of Oscar, and Matthew Glazebrook slips straight in between us, but it's not good for me. We're heading to turn 1, we come off the throttle as we have to, just to make sure we're not causing any contact. There's lots of little bumping going on, but nothing major. Brad gets a good switchback and comes alongside me as we go side by side down into the second chicane. As Tom slows down in front of me and Brad get together a little bit, we go through the chicane side by side to bang wheels. I go up on the curb, but I still manage to get myself alongside Ollie. I take Ollie into turn whatever that is, but he stays alongside and manages to send it straight up the inside. And Brad manages to follow him through, but I get a better run on the exit of the corner and manage to get back past Brad and also keep past Ollie. So my next target is Mr. Butler. As I get out the corner and I get alongside, I get a good exit, and that is me up past Tom. So then my next target is Matt Glazebrook, but he has been absolutely rapid all weekend as he already makes his way past Simon Dean. Now, as I get into the corner right behind Simon, my next target, I want to try and line him up, but I've got to get close before I can do that. But while I'm trying to get close, I have to also worry about the cars that are behind me. And head of that pack behind me is the infamous Mr. Brad Philpot himself, closely followed by Tom Butler. And then we've got Matt Davis right behind him as well. So I do have to keep an eye out on my rear quarter just to make sure that Brad isn't coming past me at all. So I do have to go a little bit defensive, which obviously means I don't get to attack Simon like I want to. As Brad has a nibble up the inside, I have to compromise my line into the dogleg, which again means I don't get the best entry or the best exit. So again, I do not get to close up on Simon. So we have to just try and duck down, get in the slipstream, and try and get as close to him as possible to make an attempt for this lap. As Brad has another look up the inside of the chicane, but just isn't able to get there. As we get through the corner, we have a really good run through the chicane, get over the curb, and then... what's happened? I'll tell you what's happened. The engine died on me, and that is me out of the race. As I get out to have a look, maybe try and restart it, because you get points for finishing races and you don't get points if you don't finish, but something was wrong. The engine did not want to start.
Where are we going? I've got another race straight away. In the middle. I've got another race straight away.
Well, this isn't how I pictured my race ending, but while I'm over here doing strongman training with a broken kart, it's the perfect time to remind you, if you're enjoying the videos, the highs, the lows, and the highly questionable fitness choices, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, or even join Team Van Gene to support the channel. Every bit helps me get back on track, literally.
So, something to stop my engine, dirt in the fuel or dirt in the carb or something went wrong. So the engine just stopped. That's why we finished. We're now running back to the grid for the next race.
And you know that really where it's at on my phone yesterday?
Not me. Yeah, so now we're running back to the grid for race 2. I've also changed the spot as well. So we're running now. I've had to put more fuel in, which means I'm going to be overweight, even more overweight than I already am. So, fun and games.
Right, so we are here for my race 2. Obviously, race 1 was incredibly short, thanks to, we don't know, the engine just stopped. I had to clean out all the carb and everything, and then it started up again. Changed spark plug for good measure as well. Amar seems to think that because I have to run quite low fuel because of my weight, that the fuel might be sloshing around and it might be putting air through the fuel, which is then stopping the engine, which might be why it came to such a stop. So that might be the reason. So I've had to run a bit more fuel, so now we're a bit more overweight. We're starting P8 for this race. All the really fast people all around me, you know, the aim is to now sort of try and maintain position, move forward if we can, and yeah, try and recover to make sure we get into the A final, because obviously a DNF will massively affect that. Let's go!
So as we rocket up to turn 1, we are on the outside, so have to be careful here not to get pushed out wide, not to lose too many positions, but have to accept the fact that we are probably going to lose some positions. So as we are into lap 1, turn 1, alongside there's a bit of carnage up front. Number 57 pushes Seb off the circuit. That is Seb done. He bent loads of stuff on his kart going off into that horrible bit of dirt. So anyway, I have to focus on going into turn 1. It's lots of side-by-side stuff going in. I think there was a crash behind me, so we just have to focus on going forward as we go up the inside of Nick into the fast left-hander, and then we come into the hairpin.
I've got no pull off these corners. Just losing so much time.
So the plan is to follow Brad for as long as possible. Got a little bit wide into turn 1, so just got to make sure that I do not lose any time. Sorry for this camera view, I obviously pushed the camera a little bit too far down in my helmet. Need to sort that out for the next race. As we head into turn 1, we hit the curb, we have a little touch on the wall, which was actually quite a big touch on the wall. Luckily, it didn't bend anything, but what it has done is it's cost me a lot of speed, and Nick has come back through into turn 1. That is Matthew Glazebrook alongside me. I do not want him getting past me because I know how quick he is and I will never get him back. So I now am trying to line up Nick to try and get past him as quickly as possible. As we wallop the curbs on the way in, we get a really nice exit, and I actually managed to drag alongside Nick and do a carbon copy of the move I did before.
So, if you're liking the footage that you're seeing so far, it comes from the Cambox V3, which is nicely tucked away inside my helmet. Which, by the way, if this season goes well for me, for next season we might get a fancy new upgrade. I'm thinking custom paint job, spoiler kit, maybe even a few of your names on it. But to get that, you'd have to join and be part of Team Van Gene. So if you want one of these cameras, go to Cambox, use Access Karting to get 5% off. If you want your name on my next racing lid, come join the channel. Get all the members perks like early access to videos, members only videos like full uncut sessions, and you even get a little avatar made and you get to join the Van Gene party room.
Anyway, that's enough shameless plugging for the rest of this video. Let's crack on with the racing, shall we? As we are closing down on Adam Holloway. He has been overtaken and left a little bit vulnerable, no slipstream for him to cling on to, and he has fallen into the clutches of me, and what I think behind me is Lewis Jones. As I'm a close-ish alongside, but I think if I had gone for that move I would have sent Adam into the shadow realm, so I did not want to do that. However, I do have a very impatient Lewis Jones behind me who keeps giving me little love taps at the rear saying, come on, let's go, let's get past this guy, and maybe a little bit of pushing into braking zones, but we won't talk about that. But that might be what that noise was. Anyway, as we turn our attention to Adam in front of us, as we are trying to figure out where we are quicker to find out if we can get close to him and make a move. However, I leave the door open a little bit here, and Lewis decides he's had enough of me and decides to just sling it up the inside. Nice move. I didn't actually fight it too hard. I kind of saw it coming. I knew he was quicker, and I'm like, right, okay, well, you go and have a go at him then. So as we head up onto the final straight, you can see that I'm trying very, very hard to close to the back of Lewis, but Lewis has some very, very good waft, so we're not doing too much. As the slipstream does start to pick up a little bit towards the end, I'm much later on the brakes than these two into the braking zone, but that's also a lot to do with the fact that they are fighting, so Lewis has to brake earlier than Adam is. As we come through the hairpin, Lewis is already right tucked up on the bumper of Adam, so he's probably thinking about having a go very, very soon. However, there are yellow flags, so we can't have a go anytime soon yet. Let's see if he has a go on Adam where he just got me. I think he does. And boom! Straight up the inside.
His ability to just get it dive so in. Incredible. But it's the extra speed he can carry. So I just can't.
So the next few laps consists of more of this, which is me tucked up behind Adam trying to have a go at him.
I can't do it.
So as me and Adam are having our little battle, there is a ever-growing impatient Matthew Glazebrook behind who is way faster than both of us and desperate to get past. So as me and Adam hog the inside so I can't overtake him, Matt has a massive overspeed, goes to go around the outside. I see him coming, take way more curb, but he just overcooks it, smacks the back of Adam, sends me across the curbs, and then I come back onto the track in the way of Harvey still, and give a little bit of a tap to Harvey, but I was kind of out of control when I just was trying to collect the cart back up. But in that, I lost a place to Ash Candola and then to Paul Handley. And obviously, after these kind of big impacts, you don't quite know how the kart feels, so it's very difficult to gather your head back together and drive properly again. So it took me a little while just to figure out whether the kart is driving well enough or not. And it was a bit of an issue. I was very upset with Matt because it was a really unnecessary move at that particular point. And then I know he's still right behind me at this point, so I decide not to fight him too hard because I assume with something like that he was going to get a penalty. So when he tries to overtake me on the last lap, I don't really put up much of a fight because I'm expecting a penalty, but the penalty didn't come. So yeah, after what felt like quite a good race, ended up having not the best ending.
So that one again was meh. Obviously, starting P8, I think I finished 11th. This should be a penalty, I think, coming from Matthew Glazebrook, because he was he lumped somebody out of the way. It's a shame because it started off as a nice move. Yeah, I'm just lacking pace at the moment. I said to Lewis after Lewis went past me into the hairpin, I can't do that move. I can't get enough speed off the corner to make that lunge on somebody. I haven't got enough. If I tried that, I would just clobber into somebody, and obviously I don't want to do that. So yeah, so I don't know where we're going to be. We've got a DNF and an 11th. Whether I'm in the A final or the B final, I don't know. I've got one more race coming up shortly, so I'm going to go do that. And I think I'm starting 11th in that one. Anyway, let's go have a look.
So, heat 4, race 3 for me. Starting 11th, we got Harvey next to us, Paul Zanatachi in front of us. Hello, Phil. We have Daniel over there, and then we have Ethan still over there, and Tom, and then we have Matthew Glazebrook. We have Simon Dean, Matthew Roberts. Oscar is on pole, but his cart is currently on its side because there is an issue with the pull cord. Ollie's over there. We got Dom with us. We got Amwar right behind us. We have Simon as well. So yeah, a nice stacked grid. I need to score points. I need to stay out of trouble in this race. Score some points. Oh God! After all the drama I had in that last race, I completely forgot that I smacked the tyre barrier with my tyre. So yeah, we'll have to check the tracking before the final. Someone's got to remind me to do that, because I will forget. It's starting to get a little bit colder. Well, it looks a bit, still 15 degrees though. I think we have an issue. I think Oscar might be a DNS. Is he getting in? Oh, he's getting in. Good lad. Come on. Let's go racing. Oh no, Oscar! Oh, there is a moth in my fucking visor.
Off to turn 1, I'm tucked up behind Paul Zanatachi, but I'm a bit disappointed because I don't get as good a run into the first corner as I want to. As we come up to the inside behind Ollie and Paul, it all checks up a little bit. There's a little bit of wiggling going on, but everyone's all right. Harvey gets a brilliant launch off the corner and comes through and takes like 20 positions. Amwar has also managed to find his way past. I go up the inside of Paul into the chicane. It all gets a little bit close, but we're fine. I took a bit too much curb. Ollie ends up off the circuit somehow, and I'm up the inside of Paul onto the left-hander as I go through, but Paul managed to do a great job of hanging it around the outside. I leave him the room so that we can just about fight around the exit, and again we are side by side into the boot as I manage to just nip ahead into the corner. I do leave a little bit of room, but because I leave a little bit of room, I get a little bit sideways. So now I have to try and get alongside him down the straight. As I get a good run off the corner, a good bit of slipstream, I pull out, Paul sees me there, gives me the room, I launch it over the curbs, and I head off on my way to try and catch the pack in front. I still have Paul nibbling around my rear, trying to regain his position from me. I duck down to get going and try and get away from him as much as possible, launch myself through the chicane, and as you can see, as I come off that corner, I get a really good little bit of space, and that means I'm free and I can head off on my own. So what we're going to do now is we're going to skip forward to when I catch up to the pack. So 2 laps later, I am tucked up behind Dan Howarth as we have caught this fighting pack in front. I have a look down the inside of Dan Howarth, but he's got enough pace on me just to keep me behind. I muller all these curbs to try and get through, and we head off in pursuit. I'm getting a bit frustrated because I just don't have the drag off of the corners that I'm hoping to do. I can't manage to keep the speed to keep the engine revving. I think that's down to the fact that I have a slipping clutch. As we look, as Dan Howarth is also hovering around the back of Tom. Those two arrived here together in the same van with their carts together. So a bit like me and Brad, they fight each other very, very hard, but I don't think they give any quarter to each other. At the moment, I'm just hovering around the back of Dan, trying to figure out ways past, trying to learn how he drives to find out if I can find a way past. But at the moment, there is nothing for me to do. However, I need Dan to be a little bit less defensive because he's been defensive. There's a small gap just ahead to Tom, giving him the opportunity to attack Simon Dean without reproach. But I get a good exit out of the corner, and I try to have a sniff up into this hairpin, but I just do not have the grunt to get alongside him. And then all of a sudden, Oscar Prietti, who had to start from the back of the grid because he was still fixing his car on the grid. As I explain, I don't quite know how he's managed to get up to the back of this pack, but well done to him. Oscar was absolutely rapid all weekend as Tom literally launches. And then Oscar makes an incredible move on me. Doesn't quite have the speed to hold it off against Tom. He hangs around the outside of me but doesn't manage to keep it ahead just there. But he has... he has so much pace, as you can tell. I'd really like to get past my little buddy Tom. I go to the inside. Tom doesn't defend too hard, and as we go into the corner, he kind of a little backs off and lets me have the corner. However, him doing that has also given Oscar the opportunity, and as you can see in the background, Jacob as well, to get through. So that him letting me pass has cost himself 3 positions. So thanks for letting me pass, Tom, but it's probably not the best option for you. So now my option is to chase hard after Simon Dean. I know I'm quicker than Simon, but Simon is very, very strong on corner exit, and it makes him very, very difficult for me to overtake him. So let's see if we can have a sniff. However, Jacob is already there and already slinging it up the inside. Go! I was aware he was there. I didn't want to have too much, but then as whenever anything happens and I let somebody through, one of the fastest guys through, Oscar is always there to capitalise. So yeah, I suffered the same fate that Tom suffered, which was I let one person pass and someone else came through. So now I just have to try and follow back behind Oscar, as Jacob has already found his way past Simon, as I then try to chase up. But obviously very frustrated at this point because I'm not quite where I want to be. I probably should be 2 places further up, but I am 2 places further back. So after about a lap and a half, I have managed to get myself a little gap to the pack behind, and also managed to get right up to the back of Simon Dean, who again is putting on a very strong defence to me. Frustrating for me because obviously I know I'm quicker and I want to get past, but Simon is under absolutely no obligation to let me through and defend with all his might, which is what he does. And unfortunately for me, this basically goes on for the rest of the race. Me carrying loads more speed into the chicanes than Simon does, but Simon getting good exits and me not being able to get anywhere near him. So I'm going to spare you my frustration, and we will skip to just before the end of the race.
Frustrating. You defended well, there's nothing I can do about it though.
And a show of respect, as always, after a race well fought. Do the same with Mr. Butler. And back to the pits.
That was a hard day. Best lap of the time, best lap of the day though. 54.9. Hard work though. Well done. I just couldn't ever draw alongside you. You can carry so much more speed into chicanes though. You're on the throttle like half a second later than you should be. The second you're turned in, you're over that curb, bang, straight back on the throttle. You're losing so much on the exit. That's why I kept hitting you, because I had to keep carrying the speed, because if I didn't...
So that race went all right. Obviously you can see I'm still lacking a little bit of sort of bottom end power because I'm quick through the corners and I can't drag alongside anybody, which is quite frustrating, but it's all right. We got P10 in that one. I haven't seen the results of the final yet because the final GX race hasn't happened. So we'll find out where we are in the final, I guess in the next 20 minutes or so.
20 minutes later.
So the finals are up, and I'm in the A final. I am in P23. Brad's last in the A final. So
To be fair, we actually have the possibility of actually having a better result than we did at Landau, because Landau obviously finished 23rd. So, yeah, we're going to go out for the final now after watching the B final.
Nick's on pole. Oh no, second. It's raining.
We've run away from the rain to watch the B final from the safety of our Mars awning.
ABS towers.
ABS towers.
Simon Fuller's in the lead now.
That's in Panterson there.
Simon Fuller is winning. God damn. Go on, Simon! Yeah!
So let's go do the final now.
Right, it is final time. We are way at the back, but the person who is way at the back more is Mr. Philpot, because he cheated and came in underweight because he was trying to cheat. So, and then his chain fell off after his perfect prep, so he's behind me. But we've got, I mean, this is the thing with finals now, is you just got loads and loads of really fast people all around you. Everyone's hard to overtake, so obviously I'd love to say, yeah, we're going to go forward and we're going to make paces up, but it's hard to overtake here. Yeah, it's really, really difficult to overtake here, so we'll see how we get on. Let's just try not to go backwards, yeah?
So, as we roll up to turn 1, it is all very, very close here. We've got to try and do our best to stay out of trouble as I'm behind Matt Davis. There's a nice little gap between us. As we come to turn 1, he backs off, I back off a little bit. I'm completely off the throttle. Anthony goes round, and as Matt tries to get out of the way, I collect Matt and push Matt round. That was a concertina effect, not much I could do there. I've lost places to Brad and I've lost places to Seb, and there is a Tony Kart on the inside of me going into the chicane. I give it the room so that I can actually get through, and we are through safe. I have no idea what position we are in because we are so far back, it doesn't really matter. So, thing to remember, it has been wet again. The track dried out since the B final, but it has rained again. I get past Seb, and then there is Connor Botting and Brad going side by side through the bootleg. Brad manages to just pinch him a little bit just to compromise his line, which compromises his speed all the way down to the chicane. I take to the inside nice and early. I am up to his rear wheel. He sees me, gives me a room. I jump as much of the curb as I possibly can to give him the room on the inside, and we are through and up a position. And as we roll on a lap, I have tagged onto the back of number 23, Joe Harris, the highest placing novice, I think, at the moment at this point. And he is very fast. I don't think he should be a novice anymore. Actually, it's his third race. He will probably be off his novice place, as he gives me the room as I got the inside, but I just don't manage to get the move done. I am chasing to get past him with my life because I am a little... I'm trying to get past him because I am a little bit quicker than him, and I'd really like to move up the road and have a go at Simon and have a go at Simon. Yeah, because there's the two Simons in front of me, Simon Dean and Simon Philpot. So that's what I'd really like to do. I'd really like to be following Brad at the field. I have a look up the inside as Joe goes a little bit wide, and I manage to get ahead, but he gets a really good drag off the corner and doesn't want me to have the inside for the corner. He does give me the room though. We still are side by side. I'm like, come on, let's go get the guys in front, but Joe is desperate to fight me. He has the inside line and the power to squeeze past me, and he is already defending. And listen, everyone is entitled to defend, but I'm not interested. Oh, and Matt Glazebrook's had another brush with the wall. I'm not interested in fighting for 20th position. I'd rather move forward at these stages of the race. But I also understand that if you don't think you're going to move much further forward, you want to defend and not lose any positions.
I know it's not
But now that we've lost a little bit of time to the boys in front, I'm going to try not to fight Joe so that we can actually catch back up to the front, because I actually think with me and Joe we're quicker than the two Simons ahead. So let's see if we can catch them.
There are spots of rain. There's more rain coming.
And there was about to be a lot more rain coming.
Early.
So at this point I have started to take a little bit of precaution, just braking a little bit earlier, because you don't want to be that person that gets to a point where all of a sudden it's really slippy and you're carrying in dry speed and you just slide off the circuit. And as you can see, the rest of that group in front of us is all packing up. So me and Joe, who've stopped fighting to just try and catch us back, have managed to achieve that goal of catching up to the back. But as you can see, there are more and more drops of rain on my visor. This is all about to get very exciting. Do not go anywhere. Maybe hit the like button though, as I look to have a look up the inside of Joe, but Joe's just a little bit too far ahead. There's not much I can do about it there. And we are all moving along pretty nicely. I'm having a look behind me. Simon's having a little bit of a defensive clean air there. I don't think Joe was going for it, and he was a bit too far behind Simon Dean to actually have a go. Joe is darting around, having a look, and has a great lunge up the inside of Simon. Really, really nice move. I thought it at the time, and I still think it now watching back. And then I am with my old friend Simon as I come through the fast left-hander, and I have a think about going up the inside, but again, I just don't have the drag to get up along the inside of people, and I am stuck. But there are more drops of rain coming, and I was quite good in the rain in practice yesterday, so I might be able to make some progress if the rain really starts to come. Now if you notice, I'm looking to the other side of the circuit because it's raining. I'm looking to see if people are running the wide line or still running the dry line based on how much weather there is. So I'm looking ahead to see what the guys in front are doing, to see if they are starting to get any more slippery conditions. But at this point in the moment we are still running full dry lines at full dry speed. Simon checks up a little bit into that left-hander, but I don't manage to get the run on the outside. But Simon gets up the inside of Joe, who ran a little bit deep into that hairpin. He seems to have done that a few times, but he's still got some great drag. I decide to back off into that corner because all hell looks like it might be about to break loose as everyone is bunching up. It's all been nice, clean racing so far. It's all looking very exciting as a few more spots of rain get onto the visor. Simon has been done by 1 and 2 drivers up into the chicane. It's all getting a little bit crazy. Simon Dean goes a little bit sideways, hits Simon, who then hits Joe. I've managed to get ahead of both of them. The rain is really starting to come down now, so I take the deep, wide, wet line. But all of a sudden, Simon misses all his grip, and Joe comes in and hits me as well. And then I get another smack from Tim Kansas as well, which does a massive amount of damage to my side pod. Somehow, that was the only part of my car that was damaged. I've then got Matt Davies up alongside me as well. So now I don't know where I am. There's people backwards. That's, I think, Dan in the number 71 is backwards in the chicane. It's now become a bit of a free-for-all as Ash Candola has dropped back through the pack at some point. As Antti Cassels goes off into the gravel, I get a tap on the back of Ash. I cut right across there. I was very risky there because I nearly took the front of Matt Davies' car off. I go deep and wide into here to get the wide exit, to get the right exit. I get up the inside of Ash Candola, and as I do, there's no grip there, so he's still on the outside of me as I come into this left-hander and I lose a lot of grip, and then Ash is back up the inside of me. This is absolute non-stop action in the rain, and I've got a massive smile on my face at the moment because this is so much fun. I take the wide entry, I try to take as much of the curb as I can. Ash runs a little bit wide, so I get a better exit than him. So as I do get the better exit, the only thing I can do is go to the inside and hope for some grip as I try to hook myself onto the concrete curb, but it still pushes me wide, and Ash gets to switch back on me.
That's all I had.
So that's all I had to give in that particular corner, but now I've got a couple of cart width gap as the kart starts to pull away from me under braking, but I still managed to carry good speed through there and managed to catch right back up to the back of Ash. As we head into the left-hander, I want to get as close as I possibly can to maybe have a go, but I have to go a little bit wide. I think there's more grip out there. I then again take to the outside line for this corner as Matt Davies has a massive lunge up the inside of Ash and clips the rear of Ash, and then I manage to get a good run. I get a really good run to be on the outside for the boot as I come through even close to Joe, but the kart washes out. Ash again does a brilliant move to cut up the inside of me, and there's not a lot I can do more about that. I have to watch out for Matt Davies on my rear as the grip starts to come back, but we are heading to the finish line, and that was excellent.
That was fun at the end. No idea where I came. Strange race. Strange weekend. Is what it is, I guess. I've got wallet. Oh. Ash, that was fun. I enjoyed that.
So that was chaos. Lots of fun when the rain came. But yeah, there's lots of chaos. I ended up 23rd. Been a weird day. Hasn't quite gone to plan, but I haven't got the pace at the moment. I have a feeling that it might be that thing, but don't know. For me, I got 2 months to the next race. I need to lose a little bit of timber. I've gone nowhere on my weight loss, and I need that to improve. And yeah, get the kart mostly stripped down and do a bit of a rebuild job over the summer of the kart and of myself. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff, and I will catch you on the next one. Thank you. Goodbye.
Ronnie Pickering!
And then jump on the podium, mate.
You ain't got a choice.
Second place was Robert Ward.
Go on, Robbie.
And third place was Ben Webster. In third place, and I'm going to try and sound like I can pronounce it, Oscar Prietti. In second place was Jacob Sherrock.
Been to Spain once.
And then your winner was Anwar Bellow Smith.
Hey!